Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. On this video we have a post from Am I the A-hole with an update and one from Petty Revenge. So if you want to get started with the stories, then just use the timestamps below the video. Now I'd like to thank all of you that support me and my videos. It means a lot to me that you do, so thank you so much and I hope you keep enjoying the content. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user HopefulFold1. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepbrother and girlfriend to sign over parental rights? So my 30 female stepbrother S, 30 male, and his girlfriend J, 28 female, got caught up in some illegal drug stuff and are addicts. They are looking at 8 to 10 years with a plea. They have a 5-year-old daughter, N. With their court date coming up, S and J asked dad and stepmom to continue caring for N during their sentence. S and J were supposed to find a permanent place, but J's family said no. The issue is, dad is legally blind and stepmom has cancer. Neither one of them is capable of caring for a small child long term. My stepmom is extremely exhausted from chemo and can barely get out of bed most days. So N is pretty much stuck in the house all day. My dad tries, but he cannot drive, so the furthest they go is walks around the house. Now, I own my own house, so I have room for N. My dad and stepmom called and asked me if I would be willing to take in N. My boyfriend is on board. Well, as we discussed it, he made some good points. 8 to 10 years is a long time and we would be investing a lot of resources and time into N, making sure she has the best opportunities. He then asked what would happen when they are released. Would she have to go back to her parents? What about her mental well-being and needs? Would we have to fight in court? How would we handle letting her go? I then called a family lawyer and they suggested having S and J sign away parental rights. I sat down with S and J and explained that I would take N, but only under the condition that they sign over their rights with visitations scheduled immediately upon their release. J started screaming at me, accusing me of trying to steal her daughter and taking her place. I advised that my intention is only to ensure the betterment of N long term. S then said that they were her parents and knew what was best for her. I said if they did, they would have gotten clean and not done what they did to get jail time. They told me that they would rather she was in foster care than sign over their rights. I said okay and left. Now Jay's family is on social media making posts that I'm trying to steal their sister's child, etc. They were calling my phone a lot to tell me off, so I told them if they cared so much, then they can take her. My dad, stepmom, boyfriend, and family agree with me. I told some of my friends about this and they are all saying that I am wrong for using S and J's addiction to strip them of their child. Now I am wondering if I am wrong or taking it too far. I feel bad because if I don't take her, she will end up in the foster care system. I know she isn't my daughter, but I will be raising her during the most crucial development time and really don't want her potential wasted like her parents. Am I the a-hole for wanting them to sign over rights? OP, I do not think you are the a-hole. I think you're trying to do the right thing. But I also kind of understand their point of view. I mean, yes, they have committed a crime and they're going to prison and all that stuff, but asking somebody to give up their kid, at least somebody reasonable, I think it's a big ask. And even though I am sure they do not know what is best for her, that doesn't mean they don't love her, right? Or maybe that's just me being naive. I don't know, this is a tough call, but the one thing that I am certain of is that that child needs somebody to take care of her, and I am sure she'll be better in your hands than she would in the foster care system. Now, the parents are going away for 8 to 10 years, which means that they will be out when she is around 13 to 15 years old. I would think that by that time, things are going to be very different. You guys are going to have a huge connection. You're basically going to be the people that raise her and she's going to grow attached to you guys, so maybe she decides to stay with you anyways. Again, I don't believe you're the a-hole for asking this, but if they don't budge, I would still take NN if you can and you are willing to love her and take care of her. What do you guys think? Let me know your opinion in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. Narangim says, "Not the a-hole. I'd let CPS know you are willing to take her if they lose their rights to their child. They've been arrested, charged with a crime, and looking at prison time. Trust me, CPS is involved. CPS may move to involuntarily strip their parental rights anyway. If that happens, they'll have no say what happens to their child once the state takes custody." Not the a-hole. Of course, I have to admit, asking for them to fully give up parental rights is a bit extreme. But from the context, it sounds like it's what's best for the kid, and that's what matters here. And you're right, if they knew what was best for her, they wouldn't have helped themselves and gotten help or even gone to rehab. Edit. I should clarify, when I say extreme, I mean as opposed to other options such as taking them in part-time, not extreme in the context of this specific situation. Sorry for any confusion. Lacroix24601 says, "No a-holes here. I'm the child of an addict who will likely never get better. As angering as it is, it's not as easy as loving a child enough to stop being an addict. Anyway, there is something between them surrendering their parental rights and nothing. It's called legal guardianship. It's either temporary or permanent. You'd likely need permanent since they will be in jail for a long time. The parents will have to prove their fitness to get you removed as a legal guardian if it works in your state like mine. You need to retain a family lawyer, not just call one up, and go over all your options." OP's Edit mini update. Thank you everyone for your responses. I am reading them all and really taking your advice seriously. I appreciate the "you're the a-hole" and "no a-holes here" verdicts as well. You gave me an insight into how they could be feeling, and I was not thinking about them honestly. I also appreciate everyone who DM'd me and provided their experiences. It really gives me insight into what we will be getting ourselves into. Many of you inquired about reaching out to CPS. I received the caseworker's information last night and spoke with her briefly today. She was aware that my parents are not capable and have a home set up for her. I advised her that I am willing to take Anne, but was concerned about when they would be released. The caseworker reassured that because Anne will be a teenager, her voice will be heavily considered. She also pointed out that they will need to prove themselves fit, and that can take months and sometimes years. We will be speaking with the lawyer next week on further legal steps. Our end goal is to take her. Last night, my boyfriend suggested that we take her under guardianship and cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, providing her a stable environment is the most important thing. With that, this weekend we will be working on converting our office and game room into her bedroom. We have 1 month left to prepare. Wish us luck, and again, thank you everyone. Well, it seems like the community's input did really help out OP into what they need to do next, and well, she definitely has a plan going forward. So how about we move on with the update to see what happened next? I just want to say thank you to everyone who provided me with advice and your stories. To those who grew up in the foster care system and had a hard time, I wish you love and peace. My stepmom's condition has gotten worse. Now she is pretty much bedridden. My dad was getting overwhelmed, so we decided to take Anne earlier than expected. We sat down with the social worker and have both signed to become her legal guardians for now. How is Anne? Her first few days here were hard on her. She really missed her Mima and Papo. She cried at night a lot and was really closed off. I spoke to my dad and he suggested getting her a kitten, since he always told her he would get one. He even offered to cover the expenses. My boyfriend and I talked about it and we took her to the animal shelter and well, she fell in love with a cat named Nobi. Since getting Nobi, Anne has really relaxed. They do everything together. Nobi never leaves Anne's side. My dog is chill and unbothered by the new people in the house. She just lays on the couch and watches the madness play out. Anne FaceTimes with my parents daily. She talks crap about my cooking to them, saying, "It's good, but Papo, yours is better." Well, damn little girl, hurt much. I take her to visit them on weekends. With my stepmom sick, we do a lot of sanitizing and 6 feet distancing, and only Anne gets close to her. my boyfriend took the parental role a lot easier than I did. He is currently reading her Harry Potter. We agreed to stop at Prisoner of Azkaban since the books start to take a darker turn and we don't want to traumatize her. We told her at 11 she will be sorted into her house and we will go to Hogwarts. As for me, once I got a routine down, it has gotten easier. I also think it is because my boyfriend is so amazing and really does half of the work, so I am not overwhelmed. S and J were sentenced, and it will be for the max time. We have to wait until they can get televisits, so we are preparing for that. N doesn't talk about her parents at all. She sees a child therapist and they believe it is because my parents mainly raised her, that she views them as mommy and daddy. I sat down with my dad and he told me a lot of what happened over the 5 years. I just thought they watched her a lot, but the truth is, she has been in their care since she was 2 years old and that S and J had just gotten unsupervised visits when everything happened. This explained why the social worker was adamant I had nothing to worry about. So for now, we are making sure she gets as much time with her Mima as possible. Again, thank you all for your help and perspectives. Well, OP, it sounds like you guys are taking it one step at a time and are going in the right direction. Apparently N is starting to unfold a little bit more, and I think in time, you guys are going to build a really strong bond. It's also really cool that both you and your boyfriend are giving her your all, like in every type of engagement, reading her books, getting her a pet, all of that stuff. I'm sure you guys will be able to give her the stability that she needs. So on that note, OP, I wish you guys the best in the future, and now we move on to the next post. This one's from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user Work Me Baby One More Time. Cut my pay and ask me to do another job also? No. I worked for a Fortune 500 company from 2004. It's a huge building in a big engineering firm, and I only have a 2-year degree, so that limited my advancement some. I made good money and liked the job. In 2016, they had major cutbacks. 1,200 people got terminated in my building in one day. I was one. I got a decent severance and was able to pay off my house. I'm not young. I got hired back as a contract the next year and worked in a different department. No bonuses, less pay, and way more expensive health insurance, but still good money for a guy with a 2-year degree. That work dried up and I got transferred to another department doing job A, hands-on technical testing. 3 people did it. Me, another contractor, and an actual employee who was our lead. I was good at job A and wrote some programs that saved the company big money. I went above and beyond big time. That work dried up. I left job A and I stayed in the same department but did job B, which was project management. Pretty complex but not hands-on at all. Then COVID hit and we started working from home. Job E was made for work from home. I was doing great and the new lead I worked for loved my work. But times were tough and the company held back raises for their employees. I was contracting, not technically an employee. Then all contracts got a 10% pay cut in June 2020. But hey, we're all in this together and I was thankful I didn't get laid off again. Then they gave actual employees a raise 2 weeks later. I was pissed. I had just gotten a killer review, done great work, and took a pay cut, and everyone else in my department got raises. I made the best of it, but I was not happy. Then I get an instant message from my manager. They need me to come back into the office and do job A several days a week, because the remaining guy that did it got a promotion. Job B was still my primary job. No raise, not even a restoration of the 10% pay cut. I had heard this was coming through the grapevine and I'm nearing retirement. So I had a look at my finances. When she made the ask, I told her I wasn't comfortable doing 2 jobs for 90% of the pay of one. I ended up getting fired. I wasn't happy, but I was ready. I got a lot of unemployment and insurance and missed my job, but not working was great. But my old department was hosed because now they had to split up those 2 jobs among those who were left. People were not happy. I started getting all kinds of calls from headhunters of various other departments in that building. They were trying to lowball me, but I turned them down. All the hiring managers knew who I was and knew I could hit the ground running. Ended up getting back on in another department for $20,000 more a year. I had no desire to do that, but what they did was crappy, and it ended up biting them in the ass and made me more money. And I had the satisfaction of telling my boss to jump in a lake. Ah, OP, beautiful, fantastic. You ended up getting more money. You didn't really need to do the job, but you just did it to stick it to them because they did treat you really unfairly. So good for you. And now your retirement is bigger. Congratulations, OP. Nice. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.